Hello, and welcome to our sewing sangha. You'll find a series of videos here on how to make a rakusu in the Soto Zen tradition, more specifically in the tradition of Upaya Zen Center and Roshi Joan Halifax's lineage. We'll go through each step in detail to help you create your own rakusu. You might want to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can find it again easily, and click on the notification bell and you'll learn when new videos are posted. If you have questions or comments, be sure to post them in the comment section below. We'll do our best to answer them. I'm Cheryl Dyson, and today we're going to be going over the final step in the frame of the face of the rakusu. So this will be actually the kind of a decorative top knot, if you will, on the top. It's a little bit fussy, but we're going to make it work, and you'll find any links and details in the description below. So let's go to the downward facing camera and get started. Okay, so we're going to be working with part G, and this is the strip that is 9 by 2, so 9 inches by 2 inches. And it's a decorative trim that will go on top of the frame. And I'll show you that in just a second, because I've gone ahead and made some of the folds already, because there's a lot of little itty bitty folds that need to happen with this strip. So when you have this strip, let's kind of start a little bit, not quite from the beginning, but almost. So you'll have your strip just like that. And just like we've done before, we're going to make a 1/2 inch turn up for this turn up. We're going to make a fold that turns up this part of the fabric for 2 inches. Now, you know I love my graph paper, and we can make sure that when you mark the fold, be sure that you have things lined up, and you can measure, because each square of the graph paper is 1/4 inch. So we know that that's a 1/2 inch. So it works just perfectly. Now on the top of this strip, you're going to want to turn it down 1/4 inch. So just like before, you'll measure, but this time 1/4 inch, and turn it down. And you can measure and double check on your graph paper that you have 1/4 inch. Now, this step, just like the others in the frame, really need your iron, and you need to press these folds in. So if you are just doing a watch through to know how to do this step, great. If you are trying to work along with me, then be sure you go, pause the video, go and turn on your iron, get everything nice and hot. And when you make your folds, then I'll want you to press each step. Okay, so we're going to press this and this, and that's already done here. And then the next step is going to be to fold in 1/4 inch on the very end. And you've actually had a lot of experience now in turning down corners, or making these hems. And this is a real important one as well. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that when any part of your rakusu, there should not be any raw edges. So whenever you're going to be placing, so this, for instance, is going to be placed on the rakusu, the edges need to be a fold, so that you never have like a raw edge like this outside the rakusu. Because what will happen, and actually you probably nearly demonstrate on this kind of a little bit thinner fabric, is that it's going to fray, and you're going to find yourself with these little frayed threads coming out and coming off of your rakusu. So you don't want that. So you're going to fold in 1/4 inch. Now, at this point, you actually might be confident enough to do this without marking and, all of that. And a couple of the things that you can do, obviously, is to use your seam gauge and, measure that. I can give it, do I have this set at a 1/2 inch or quarter inch. So since I've been at a quarter inch, I can set this and it fits right in that little space. So I know that that's a quarter inch. So like I said, you can fold it over and then this one actually isn't as super critical to be a quarter inch. So if it's a little bit more, a little less, that's okay. But so just turn it over, give it a little measure, and go, that works. Okay. So you can use your clips at this point, or you can use a pin. And either way will work to be able to be sure that you have these folds under control, that they don't unfurl on you when you're trying to use them. Because the next thing will be that you'll need to fold this again on that quarter inch mark. And this is really easy because you have the quarter inch right here. You don't have to mark it again. You can take this at corner and fold it over, and then make sure that you're folding, right at the edge of the fabric. So that's actually pretty simple to do. Just fold it over. And you'll find too, when you pull it, it wants to lie flat and it wants to hit that edge, because that's a comfortable place for it. So that would be a good potential thing to do. So go ahead and there we go. So then you go ahead and take a look at doing the same thing here of opening this up, folding it down a quarter of an inch, folding this in just like that. Oops. And you can use our clips or use a pin, either way. And then this guy is going to continue along and just fold over so that I have two folds, quarter inch and quarter inch. All right. So I can use a couple more, use a couple more pins if you want. So you've got this part, this strip G is now properly folded and ready to go. Actually, I'm going to move this over because there's one more thing that you want to do. So keep those kind of in the middle. And what I'll be doing is coming over to this side, the flatter side, it's a little easier, and come right to the edge and the edge and find the middle. Just put a little dot there. And you'll be using your pencil or the little soap sliver or your tailor's chalk to be able to mark that. All right. So just make sure you have a tiny, this little dot there will do to make sure you're in the center of the rakusu. This is the reason I like these clips. They hold the small little pieces down a little flatter from my way of looking at it. So, okay, so now we have this is what it's going to look like. And at this juncture, you want to go back to the iron and iron this edge and these sides. Then put the clips back on so they don't, get lazy and fall out. But yeah, so the first folds are going to be 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. Go iron them, come back and fold this, kind of open this back up and fold in 1/4 of an inch on each end. Should be very simple. You don't really even have to super measure. You'll be able to see it by eye after all of these 1/4 inches that you've been doing, 1/4 inch seams and 1/4 inch folds. You're a pro at 1/4 inch. And now once that's all ironed, come back, turn in those 1/4 inches on each end and fold the side up and clip it. Then 1/4 inch again and clip it down, and then go iron this. So you're going to iron this, iron the sides, put the clips back, and this will be the next piece that we'll be using. All right, so I have pins and clips galore. All right, so now I have a piece that I've completed and is ready to go here. And we're going to fit it onto the top of the Rakusu. Now I've got the center marked on my little pinky here, part G or strip G. And you want to measure the center of the top of the frame. And so this guy is going to marry up to that guy. And you're going to, you're actually kind of halfway there. And I don't know, I'm debating about pins or clips. Because they both have their both pros and cons. Let's just say that. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and be trusting here. And remember, we have our 2 folds. Okay, so we have the first 1/4 inch fold we made, and then we made a second 1/4 inch fold. So this is actually making things even simpler by simply putting this right on top. Okay, so now we have this little guy is on top of the Rakusu. And we want to make 100% sure center. And let's go ahead and clip. And sometimes these the little turnbacks will get a little wild. So you can just, make sure they're tucked in a little bit. And turn it down. Decided not to pay attention to me. That's okay. We'll just coax it back in there. And I'm going to be flipping this over. So I'm going to put the flat side of the clips. If you have your clips, did you notice that the bottom is flat and the top is curved? It took me a while to realize that. And it's good because if you have things lined up and on a flat surface, then the flat edge won't make ripples. And so that's a very handy thing. Okay, so now we have the top part set, and this is exactly how it'll look. All right, so we've got our little top knot guy right on the top. And oops, excuse me, there we go. And then when we turn it over, we'll be taking this, it's a longer piece here. Then we're actually going to be folding this into a 45-degree angle. So let's work on that now. And then we'll baste part G in place. And then we'll sew it together with using the slip stitch as we had learned before. So this is going to be may become a real-time video where after I'm finished explaining how this works, I'll do the basting right here, and then I'll go through and use a contrasting thread and do the slip stitch front and back. So that way, we have other sew along videos, but this one I think is won't take as long as some of those. But at any rate, if you decide to work along with me or have, let me be your sewing buddy, then be sure that feel free to get to a point where, say, you've been sewing for 20 minutes or less, and you decide that you need a break, just pause the video, take a walk, have some tea, take a look at coming back and and then restarting the video. And again, in trying to do each of these stitches in a meditative way so that we're not in a rush and we're not trying to hurry up and complete anything. We're looking at the precision of doing this correctly, but then also realizing that each individual stitch will be personal and intimate and belong only to us. All right, so in taking a look at this guy, we're going to have this is going to be an angle. We're going to finish it off at a 45-degree angle. Now, there are several different ways to be able to accomplish that. And let me see if I can show this little guy. And I'm going to link to this, this particular template. This is a pattern for sashiko embroidery. And so it's very handy. And I'll give you my little hint was that I used this for my lineage chart as well, because when you take a look, see, you have these nice curves. So when you start putting the template for the lineage chart that they provide for us, then as you're measuring and going along, you can actually take the corresponding circle or semicircle, and you just use a really light pencil on your mulberry paper and then be able to trace that. So that works really nicely too. So I'll give you a link to that, because obviously with a 45-degree angle, you can use a protractor or anything like that. You also can eyeball it, So it depends on your preference for accomplishing this task. So hopefully that makes sense, and you can see the 45-degree angle so that you put this line on the straight, and then you can see, just follow along the line for the 45-degree angle. All right, so let's take a look. Let me get that out of the way and discover that he's out of the way too. Move this. It's a little bit clunky here. And so we're saying, okay, where's the 45-degree angle? It's this guy. And so we'll have it match to the corner. So that the 45-degree angle comes right along here. And actually, I have it correctly? Yeah, I think so. There we go. So you just make a little dot there, and oops. Sometimes I'm doing these instructions on the fly. Tucking that in. And keeping that part down in the back, keeping this part over. Here we go. So here's just a regular protractor. Maybe one of your kids can help with this too. All right, so then that would be the base, and there's 45 degrees. So maybe a wee bit more in. There we go. There we go. So I think that looks pretty. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay. Okay, and then keep your clips right on the edge of your 1/4 inch so that, because if they go past, they could slip on the inside and we don't want that. And we'll do this one more time. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Kind of take a peek here. See what if it looks like it matches. I'll line it up again on the top of the frame, and let's find our 45 degrees. Okay, I think it probably should be in just a teensy bit more. We want it to have that nice crisp look that it really looks like it's going in rather than just over. All right, so let's eyeball that. I got a little, sorry, I got a little glare here. So just eyeballing it, taking a look at each of these little measuring tools, I think really help us see that it's in good shape. We're in good shape. Yeah, so there's our 45 going down here to the center. So I'll let you find maybe and actually some of these kinds of things come right in a box of like a coloring kit that your kid or a grandkid might have. And so a lot of these different little kind of crafty office supplies things are pretty easy to find. The graph paper, obviously, I'm a huge fan of that and think that it'll make your life a lot easier to use. And you only need 3 or 4 pages, and we'll, I think we've mentioned that several times. So at any rate, having a little protractor or a compass kind of thing will help you with this little particular part. And I think we have a good job here. All right, so then the next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to baste this in place, and then I'll be doing a slip stitch to attach it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and consider the rest of the video to be a sew along, and because you've done all of these things before, and so I won't go through describing how to do the different stitches, and we'll let you go from there. And if you do forget how to do the stitch, it's been a while, or you're skipping ahead, don't skip ahead. You can skip ahead if you really have to. But if you're skipping ahead or you've forgotten, just go back to the previous videos and it will show exactly how to accomplish those stitches, and you can go from there. I'll be watching too for a video that will be only the stitches, and that way you'll have a reference. And so check that out, and be sure to take a look for that. So, all right, so I'm going to just start stitching. I'm going to baste, and then I'll stitch that together, and we'll go from there. Get in there. right now. If you like, you can go ahead and baste down here as well. And that's really to make sure that you um, feel comfortable with this, the stability of this, of making these stitches. If you're very comfortable with this slip stitch, oh, excuse me, with having done quite a bit of this particular stitch, then go ahead and give it a shot, just using the this is stability. So, and this is also a juncture where you can decide if you want to do this stitch this way, which in a sense is upside down from what we talked about before with the side and the bottom. But it still works actually the very same way. Or you can decide to turn it up this way and make your stitches um, kind of in the more traditional way. And so that way you can go um, up and through instead of up and down, if that makes sense. But so I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And um, so again, just be sure that you have your arms relaxed, your shoulders relaxed, you have your arms on the table. I think it's so much better, especially if you're new to hand sewing, than to try to, be in your rocking chair like Whistler's mother, and to be sure that you're going if you're right-handed, going from left to right, or I'm sorry, from right to left, and keeping your stitching and the fabric parallel to the body. And again, I'm using a much bigger needle and bigger thread than you'll be using. And obviously you're black on black and I'm these colors on color. And the needle I'm using is much bigger than what you'll be using much longer. You should be using a quilting needle, and it'll be a little shorter than this and a thinner eye so that it goes through the fabric more easily. And this is a pearl cotton, which is a type of embroidery thread, and you can even use it for crocheting. And so this is much thicker than you'll be using. So, and I'm going to be exaggerating the stitches just a little bit so that you can see them better. So on yours, we're really not going to be seeing any of these little, like, see here, you can see these little stitches. You're not necessarily going to see those on your finished one because you have a thin thread and it'll be kind of tucked in there. I've been a little bit exaggerated so that you can see what I'm doing when I make these stitches, if that makes sense. So. All right, so this completes the entire field, the frame, the field and the face and the frame and the little trim on the frame. And this part of the Rakusu is completed. Quite a milestone, right? And the next steps will be to attach the straps. So if you haven't finished sewing your straps, go ahead and do that. Finish those 42-inch by 4.5-inch strips folded in half and sewn with a step stitch all the way across. And so have those two completed. Just sew them. You don't have to do anything else with them because we'll cover turning them inside out and how to manage each end because the two ends will be a little different. We'll be attaching the ring, finally the plaquette, and the pine needle, the broken pine needle embroidery. So we still have a few steps and it will, still some challenges ahead, but this is a wonderful milestone. Thank you for listening. I hope that you're enjoying the process and finding it meaningful and feeling that you're able to be successful in creating your Rakusu. So we'll see you next time.